Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, both physically and virtually. Thank you so much, everyone, for gracing this wonderful event. Thank you so much. Good afternoon once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the launch of the Just Act Climate movie series, proudly hosted by Chief Mrs. Nicole Kundai. Thank you. This project was created by the CYCDI Solution 17 to champion climate solutions locally and globally with a focus on clean energy, climate smart agriculture, and waste to wealth. I am Princess Marinate, your master of ceremonies for this event and any other future events. To acknowledge some distinguished personalities that we have in our event here today. I'll be starting with His Royal Highness Oba Alayelua Saheed Elegushi, represented by Chief Aro Bakari. I would also like to welcome the MD of LG Electronics West Africa, Mr. D.Y. Kim. Mr. Jokin Song, the Managing Director of Air Solutions, LG West Africa. Mr. Harry Eluru, the Head of Corporate Marketing, LG West Africa. Thank you so much. They are our sponsors for today's event, as you can see, the beautiful display of LG screens and our ACs. Thank you so much. And also not forgetting our mommy, Chief Mrs. Nicole Kunde, the brain and the heart behind Nick at Gallery, where we are today. I would also like to recognize the Consul General of the Republic of South Africa, represented by Ms. Sebo Lenya. Thank you so much. Also, the Consul General of the German Consulate, Mr. Bert Berner, and his beautiful wife, Dr. Berner. I would also like to recognize representatives from the Elizabeth Jack Rich Foundation and Ellen Group Limited. Thank you so much for bringing us today. I would also like to recognize representatives from the American Consulate, the Public Affairs person, Mr. Joe Prison. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I would like to invite on stage our mummy and our wonderful host for today's event. Please make welcome Chief Mrs. Nika Okundari.
His Royal Highness, our FD, and our US Embassy and German Consulate, and all the people representing South Africa, our buyer, who is also our big collector, Abiola from Taliban. And that is why you are here. And I'm going to handle the telephone, the microphone to her, because they are the ones doing the work today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll be taking a very interesting turn today, I don't know if any of us remember our challenge that has been going around globally. Who impregnated the earth? I will not want to talk too much, and I would like to hand over the mic to the artist himself, Mr. Yusuf Durodola. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And say thank you everyone and good afternoon. I welcome everyone to this great event. I remain myself Yusuf Durodola, and I thank everyone who has been in one way or the other to make this event a reality. And as Mommy said, the the future belongs to the youth. And the people we are following today, they were youth before, and we are following them. So we are taking them. And tomorrow we also be there. God bless you, Mommy. And the brain behind this event. I met her in an event. We are having a conversation, a roundtable discussion on environmental pollution and to our head. And we are environmentalists. So that was how I met her. And yesterday, when they were making the arrangements, and we just talked, and she said, "Oh, I would have loved you to be here." And I said, "Okay, I might not make it, but my piece will be here represented." And she asked me, "Which piece?" And I said, "This is my piece." I said, "What? No, you must be here. You must be here." And I said, "Okay, I will try." So today I'm here. I want to thank the LG for supporting the environment, supporting art. To start with, I would say mommy has been the brain behind, as was stated. This piece would have been gone to collections since, but mommy said this is a piece to educate a lot of people. So I don't want anybody to acquire it now. So, mommy, thank you because you really, you made me proud, to be here. Thank you so much. And as the MC said, who impregnated the earth? And this is the piece, who impregnated the earth? Now, is the question for all of us. And you might be asking, what is the philosophy? What is the content behind it? What was the artist thinking when you are doing the piece? I look at the environment and I realize that we as humans, we have two bodies. We have the physical. We don't really need to complain about that. And apart, the way we treat the environment is actually the way we treat each one another. If we look at it deeply, So if we don't pay attention to little things around us, there's no way you pay attention to the people that are living in that space. So today we don't take care, we have negligence about some certain things. So today we have issue with our security, status. So because we don't pay attention to those things, we just walk in the space. So thank you so much, and I want to thank the chief. God bless you. Oh, okay. Now the good thing or the trick about this work is when you are looking at it, you might not see it clearly. But when you view it through your phone lens, you'll be able to see or capture it very well. So if you point your phone to this wall, you will see the beauty of it. And that is the trick about it. Yeah, we have a very times three of days up there at the last floor. So thank you so much, the gallery that have hosted this piece. And I believe that we will all act and not just be talking. That is the point. We should act and not just talking. So this is the time I and you will need to go into it and make sure our environment is clean. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Isidore, for this very beautiful piece. And it's actually become a trademark piece here in the gallery. Thank you so much. Right now, I would like to invite the CEO and Project Director of the Creative Youth Development Community Initiative, Solution 17, to enlighten us more on the Just Act Global launch and the project components. Please make welcome MS Felipe Michael.
It is my very great pleasure to be here. I'm not going to waste time because we wasted a lot of time. I need to apologize. We had everything fixed last night. Technical glitches happened, and we had to delay everything. I welcome the online people that are joining online. I think we have about 200 people online right now. Thank you for being patient with us since 12 o'clock. We appreciate you. Now, the world needs me, you, and everyone. The problem that the world is facing can be solved if we all collectively come together to solve. You might be a doer, an innovator, a curator. Apart from the fact that I'm an engineer, I'm a project manager, I'm a curator, I'm an innovator, one of the best in the world. I don't need to celebrate yourself. Apart from being that, I'm a mobilizer. I believe that the world can be changed if we can start. Thank you very much for being here with us. LG, thank you. 24 hours. I pitch within 24 hours. Within the next 48 hours, we got approval. Thank you for doing this. I'm German Consulate. This is the 7th year of traveling this journey. We won't be here if you're not there. We'll appreciate. So I think we should have that video on why I speak. Just act. You may be wondering what Just Act is. Around the world to act for the climate by doing a simple action. It doesn't matter how simple it is. In 2016, we, after the United Nations SDG was adopted, it's like a body for us to start talking in the energy space. So we for and created solutions to help United Nations achieve the goal of the global population. Between 2016 and today, our project is currently on the UN side, and the project replicated good practice, sustainable projects that everyone can pick anywhere and begin to implement them. And this is why in 2018, we won the award as the best innovator under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. So we are not just innovating because we believe the world should flourish, but we are innovating so that the youth can be galvanized around the world to take action. So just as that you're about to see today is divided into two. We have the global awareness, which is the campaign. The campaign is also divided into two components. The first component is mobilizing through movie. The second one is mobilization through art. Last year, we created 17 pieces of art, and guess who created some teenagers who we have been mobilizing since they were age of 8, 9, 10, and 11. So these art, for the very first time in the world, are all on the internet. You're going to see them very soon. We created virtual gallery so that art will begin to speak to you. Art will begin to communicate the problem, the effect of the problem, the solutions to the problem, and action that we must take. The second component of Just Art is project implementation. As of today, we have mobilized about 5,000 farmers in a particular state. What are they going to be doing? We're going to be introducing climate smart agriculture. Nigeria needs to get better, and the Nigerians are ready if they are mobilized the right way. So this project is divided into three sections. We have the climate smart agriculture, we have the clean energy, and waste to wealth. Just stay tuned. I'm not going to waste your time today. Just watch. All of these projects will be brought to you as soon as possible. I thank you for being part of this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Feluke Michael, for this insightful talk. Thank you so much. A round of applause for again for her. This journey began last year, and a powerful woman, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, spoke truth to power at the launch of Solution 17. Today, I am happy to tell you that we have succeeded the project goals listed by the SDGs. Please, I would like you to turn your attention to the TV screens as we watch a short video on the UN Global Week by the Deputy Secretary General of the UN, Mrs. Amina Mohammed. Thank you.
The 2030 Agenda is our North Star, guiding our collective action to ensure a better future for all. But nearly halfway towards 2030, we are dangerously off track and facing unprecedented crises and emergencies. The Global Week to Act for SDGs will harness the determination and inspiration of those who are standing up for peace, justice, and climate action. Join me and millions of others as we act for the SDGs.
The stage, the Public Affairs Officer of. Please, a round of applause as I invite to the stage Mr. Joe Easy to give the remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind invitation here to speak on such a very important issue. I have to say I love this place. I've only been here 2 weeks, but my first weekend when I arrived, I hadn't even gone to the office yet, but I knew the Nikkei Art Gallery was so important to go to that I found a taxi, made it over here, went over to the Nikkei Conservation Center, and was so delighted at my visit here. And I think it's very appropriate that we're here at an art gallery, a great art gallery, because art oftentimes, at its best, transcends time and culture, and that's what climate change represents as well. It transcends all civilizations. It transcends all continents. It's a global problem that affects the developing world and the developed world, and we've got to take it very seriously. And my government and all of the governments of the of the United Nations are, and we gathered together in Paris in COP25, and we came to a really historic agreement, and we're going to follow upon that agreement. But we do have some problems. I mean, the pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the inflation that ensued from that have, I think sidetracked us somewhat from those goals, and so we've got to get back on track. And we are a little bit behind the curve here in terms of addressing the climate change problem and keeping the goal of 1.5 degrees growth in the temperature of the planet. We've got to maintain that, but we're behind in achieving that. And I don't have to. I think it's painfully obvious to everyone that this is a very important problem for Africa as well. As 17 of the top 20 most climate vulnerable countries are from this continent, and the U.S. government and our allies around the world are committed to working with the continent and its leadership to address this problem. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what the United States is doing on this. So, President Biden passed, as you probably have heard, the Inflation Reduction Act recently, and also the infrastructure bill. These are historic pieces of legislation, probably the important pieces of legislation in history of the United States in terms of addressing the climate challenge, because this will invest billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars into our clean energy infrastructure and also into research and development so that we can develop new technologies that can better address this issue. At the same time, the Secretary of State, Special Envoy John Kerry for climate change has underscored that we are committed to continuing the goal of allocating $100 billion a year for the developing world to address mitigation and adaptation issues on climate change. That is, investing in new technologies, solar and wind and gas, that are more climate friendly and emit less carbon. So that's very important, and I think and the new budget request from the president allocates $11 billion from our side for that $100 billion. And a lot of that will go to the developing world. And then I would just underscore, we've got to harness the energies, the creativity of the private sector, and public-private partnerships are going to be the way we address this issue. We're working hard on doing that. And that's not just in the United States, it's in Europe, it's in Asia, it's in Africa, it's everywhere in the world. And we'll work with our partners on that as well. And then I would underscore that Special Envoy Kerry was just here in Nigeria, up in Abuja, and he had a meeting with President Buhari and all the other leaders of the Nigerian government, and they signed the Clean Energy Demand Initiative, which will allow the U.S. government to provide more assistance to the Nigerian government in the areas of solar and wind. And I think that will be extraordinarily important. But what this problem does underscore is that we need global cooperation, we need dedication to this issue, and we need to get back on track in terms of the goals that were spelled out in Paris in 2015. And hopefully the COP27 in Egypt coming up will be a chance to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joe Friesen, for the opening remarks. Thank you. Right now, I'll be handing over the mic virtually to our next speaker, who will be talking on climate action through sustainable agriculture and mechanization. Please make welcome the Professor of Sustainable Agricultural Mechanization, the Pioneer VC of Philomath University, Professor Adeniyi Olayaju, who will be addressing us virtually. Thank you so much.
instead of exporting these mineral resources, we can actually create a processing plant that involves women and youth in manufacturing and processing of finished products. Nigeria is blessed. The blessed human resource, which is our youth. Most countries out there, the youth ratio is very, very low. But Nigerians, we have agile youth, responsible women, hardworking women, ready to work and be a part of decision making. I encourage everyone, while we try to work towards a green economy, we cannot neglect the importance of women and youth in making sure this is possible. How can we do that? Encourage them to go to school, sponsor them in the way you can. Just act in not by you doing big things. Little things amount to big things. Renewable energy, encourage them. That's why we partnered with Solution 17 to actually plant trees. If I ask you a question today,
We, the Elizabeth Jackridge Aid Foundation, we're excited to be a part of the trees from our project, which is Trees Being Planted by Limited.
this plant blessing in other times, we may not have food. God has blessed us, God is blessed. We should actually protect what we have. Involve ourselves. That I was thinking as an advocate for women and youth to be independent players for a sustainable economy. Please, everyone here, whatever you do, you have to involve women and youth. When you empower a woman, you empower a community, you empower a nation, you empower the world at large. The Prime Minister of Finland, she's a woman, and if you look at the record, if they're excellent records, I'm not saying men can do well. They can. But as a woman, as a mother, like this is an example of what a woman is. The earth is a mother. If you get trash into us, we are going to get trash. For us to be able to achieve our goals and what the UN is advocating for, we need to involve women and youth more. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elizabeth Jackridge. Indeed, quality education is the key to green economy. Thank you so much, Ma. Right now, I would like to invite on stage the Consul General of Germany to Nigeria. They have been a very, as Mrs. Foluke Michael said, this journey has been going on for 7 years, and we are so grateful for the collaboration. It is a great pleasure for me to invite on stage Mr. Beat Bonner to speak to us on the German government action of food security and climate clean energy in Nigeria. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you very much for presenting me, for inviting me, Mr. Michael. I'm very happy that one of my predecessors started the cooperation with you. And thank you very much, Chief Nico Okundaye, for hosting us now a second time in our first 6 weeks in the country. So that's already something. And just to start with a general appreciation. My wife and me arrived in Lagos on the 15th of August, and we had a very warm welcome by many of you and Nigerian citizens in this country. So thank you very much for the warm welcome. We have been to East and Southern Africa before, but never to West Africa, so we are very happy to be here. Now, concerning our urgent issues connected to the environment, we are definitely in a crisis mode, not just now, but maybe for quite some time, partly without realizing it. And there are, if you look at the definition of the the crisis mode by my government, for example, in Berlin. They have a long list, the climate crisis, of course, is on top. But we also have an energy crisis currently, we have a food crisis, we have a debt crisis because many states and governments, whether richer or poorer, don't have enough money to invest, or they have to increase their debt. And in general, we have a humanitarian crisis. And with this, I don't mean just the millions of refugees right now in Europe because of the war of aggression of Russia against Ukraine, but we, of course, also mean, the German government also means millions of African people and Nigerian people who are threatened to run into malnutrition and even hunger because of this connection of climate, energy, and food crises. So let me just make a few remarks on the two issues you asked me to speak about. One is food security. From the government side, the German government side, there is a lot of activity on the global level. You may know that in this year, 2022, Germany is in the presidency of the G7 group. And as such, we made food security a major issue of this year, even before it was so clear at the beginning of the year that we would have this crisis. And Germany alone, in this year only, is spending about $4 billion on security initiatives all over the world, many of them in Africa. Actually, according to our analysis, Nigeria is one of the 6 or 7 African countries really threatened currently with the food crisis on the African continent. So we have enlarged both our program through GIZ, that is supporting directly, especially in the northwest of Nigeria, but are also trying our agricultural cooperation. And there I would just like to mention two aspects. One is the scientific aspect. When you are so much under pressure through climate change, you need a lot of good scientists, smart brains, to work, for example, on new species of rice plants that are more, that can better adapt what's in coastal regions to salty water, whatever the new influence from the environment. Many German agricultural scientists are working on this, and together with Nigerian partner universities and institutes. And currently, several young Nigerian smart brains are in Germany for a PhD in agriculture to go on with this in their own country. And then I'd like to mention the very important contributions by private companies, because we should all be aware, just the governments will not make it. We need many companies, not just like LG, who is supporting this event and the whole program financially, but many smart companies, even small or big, that also changed the way of agriculture. And let me just give you and also food consumption. Just two small examples from Nigeria. You all may know the rather big German construction company Julius Berger. They are very active in Nigeria, but they changed their program. They are doing now more. They started a program on food processing, where really good food from Nigeria, the raw material, whether cashew nuts or other materials, can be really processed in Nigeria, in modern factories in Nigeria, and then used for local consumption, but also be exported, which is very important, I think, also for the future of Nigerian agriculture. And then we have, for example, a vegan startup, German-Nigerian, in Lagos, that is producing its own vegan food, thus on wheat basis mainly, thus avoiding a lot of emissions, you may know, whether it's meat production or other sources. So that is also a greener way of food production in Nigeria. And let me say a few words on the other issue of clean energy that is also very much putting pressure on all of us. Again, the German government, of course, has started I would say rather early at the end of last century, to really have a look at the buildup of renewables. You may know Germany was part of inventing solar and wind energy and developing it to nowadays a very competitive source of energy. And Germany, as a big, a lot of energy consuming economy, is running on the electricity front, is already running with almost half of all electricity produced by renewables. And this is going up year by year, and there are no blackouts in Germany, so don't believe the people and the media who are trying, there are always some lobbies who try to speak out against renewables or more of renewables and don't need that. So it's really possible to let even have run of renewables. And again, from the private side, there are many, many scientists and engineers involved in building up renewables and more energy efficiency, also together with Nigeria. Germany started in 2008 already an official energy partnership with Nigeria, rather small scale, but meanwhile at several issues, at several fronts, be it using fossil fuels, much more efficient. I mean, all the generators, of course, they are the worst you can have. And then also improving grid, where one of our biggest companies, Siemens, is directly involved with the Nigerian government. And then also to have a build-up to support the build-up of renewables in Nigeria, and also look at the near future where we will try to have more and more green hydrogen involved in our energy mix all around the world. So Germany just this year, beginning of this year, opened a so-called hydrogen office in Abuja to cooperate directly with Nigeria on the build-up of some renewable sector, including green hydrogen. And again, very important are NGOs like yours involved in this to make people aware of not just energy saving, but all the energy issues. And we have a lot of businesses from Germany also working in Nigeria in these issues, not just the big ones like Siemens, but for example, Daystar Energy Solutions. I'm not sure whether you heard about them. It's a German company, but they founded a Nigerian subsidy company, a Nigerian company, and they are working on solar solutions in Nigeria, including the so-called small grids, where you see, or in your village or in your housing complex, just with the solar energy they are creating and installing. So there is why we are under so much pressure. There is a lot of good activities going on. And I just want to assure you at the beginning of my term here that you have Germany's full support to also improve the energy situation and the food security in Nigeria. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Ms. Honor, for that very beautiful remark. I would like to especially recognize some distinguished personalities here with us. Mrs. Abiola Adelana, the head of tourism for Sterling Bank. Thank you so much, ma'am. And also Mrs. Ngozi Omambala, the CEO of NMO Management. Thank you so much for this. Before we head over to one of our speakers virtually, I would also like to especially appreciate the Elizabeth Jack Roach Aid Foundation for joining this, our tree planting project. Partnership just happened between 1 to 2 weeks, and as I speak yesterday, 100 trees were being planted in one of our schools. Thank you, Sid, for partnering with us. So right now, I believe the technicalities have been resolved, and I would like to hand over the mic virtually to the Director of the United Nations Information Center, Mr. Roland Kayanja. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Because I've had a bit of technical challenges. So if you can confirm that I'm audible, please let me know. Hello?
Thank you very much, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I would like to stand on existing protocol, and I'll make just 4 comments. One is to congratulate Solution 17 on the launch of Just Act campaign.
Can we have him on the screen, please?
Hello? Are you hearing me? Apologies for the technical glitches. If you can hear me, just let me know, please. So I was saying I would like to, first of all, I'll make 4 comments. One is to congratulate Solution 17, Foluke, and the team for this campaign that is being launched today, Just Act. It is coming at a time when we want to re-energize the campaigns around climate change and sustainable development. As you know, the world has been distracted a bit in the past months from our goal of achieving the Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals, and also our goals related to climate change. So we appreciate the campaigns like Just Act, which is going to raise the momentum, our momentum in trying to address the climate change challenges. As you know, this week also, we have another campaign, which actually coincides with this event and the Act for SDGs campaign that is going on. So I congratulate Foluke and the Solution 17 team. We have been working together over the years on these campaigns. My second comment is to thank the partners. When I look at the people in the room there, this shows really what in the United Nations we have always been looking for, a partnership among the private sector. You have one of the high-tech companies there, LG Electronics, and we appreciate the private sector very much. You have there members of the diplomatic community from a number of countries, and you also have the creative industry. In fact, you are within an art gallery, the creative industry, and you have young people. This is the kind of partnership that we envisage if we are going to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and also our goals for climate change. And I would like to thank all these partners. We have a private sector advisory group, and many members of the private sector in Nigeria are active and have committed themselves to our goals on climate change. And also governments. We work a lot with the European Union. We already saw the USAID has a very strong strategy on climate action, and they have put in a lot of money for that. So that is really very much welcome. Well, the diplomat from ambassador from Germany has talked about what the German government is committed. The EU countries are committed. So this is very, very important, and we really thank everybody for this commitment to first of all, the Sustainable Development Goals, but also to our goals in the Paris Agreement. My third comment is about our concern. If you have been following the General Assembly, there are 3 issues, and the Secretary General of the UN calls them the 3 Cs: the COVID, climate, and conflict. Now, we thought COVID had taken a lot of attention away from our achievement of the climate change and the Sustainable Development Goals. And because of the disruption of supply chains, many people losing jobs, and what this devastation that the pandemic caused around the world. But now came the crisis, the conflict that is going on in Ukraine. As you know, that is threatening, in fact, the reason why the UN was created. We are very much concerned. Now, these are sort of distracting attention away from our achievement of the goals. In fact, we are so much concerned that if you look at the speeches of heads of state at the General Assembly, there was more discussion or more talk about the Ukraine conflict, and rightly so, because of the consequences this could have to the world. And some talk about the COVID, the pandemic, not so much talk around sustainable development goals and the climate crisis we are facing. I know some countries have tried to bring the debate back. And you know, the General Assembly usually gives us an idea of what the priorities of the people of the world are. And so in the UN, we are very much concerned that the crisis in Ukraine and the problems of that have been caused by the pandemic are sort of taking the focus away from our ambitions, which are also very important. So I'm so glad that we can have Solution 17 and others working to ignite this campaign. In the UN, we want now, building up to COP27, to mobilize people, to remind the whole world that, yes, we have the Ukraine, we had the COVID, but climate change is still a problem that we must address. If you remember recently, nearly 1/3 of Pakistan as a country was submerged under floods. There are so many bad and severe weather events happening that we should make us focus on climate change. So that is really my third comment. The concern we have that attention is shifting away from the goals, the sustainable development goals. In fact, I saw the video you played there about of my boss, the Deputy Secretary General. She mentioned it, that we have the sustainable development goals are off track because the world is looking at other things. So we should bring the world back to look at the challenges of climate change. My fourth and last comment is on the focus. In the Paris Agreement, we agreed to focus on mitigation, adaptation, finance, technology, and capacity building. But many of the climate activists in Africa focus more like their counterparts in the developed world, more on mitigation. Mitigation is the actions we take to reduce carbon emissions, our greenhouse gas emissions, and that is very important. But for Africa, what probably is more important are the four, because as you know, Africa doesn't contribute as much to greenhouse gas emissions as the developed world. So Africa needs a greater focus on adaptation. Africa needs, the activists should focus on financing. We have fallen way behind on the climate finance that we need. Africa should focus on technology. I'm glad we have with us here LG Electronics. We need technologies in everything we do and innovations. And actually the Paris Agreement commits developed countries to share technologies with developing countries, because that's one of the ways to help us move. And of course, the final one is capacity building. We need to work on building capacities of our people. We need to be training in universities on courses on climate change. We need to train farmers. If you are talking about climate smart agriculture, you need training for farmers. So my point here is we should, in campaigners in Africa, should not be taken by the agenda of the campaigners in the developed world, which is more around mitigation. Mitigation is important, and probably more important for the developed world, who are contributing more to the greenhouse gas emissions. The vulnerable Africans need more adaptation, technologies, capacity building, and more importantly, financing. Let us shout on the rooftops everywhere around these issues, because they are also in the Paris Agreement, so that we can help the vulnerable and not so resilient African societies when it comes to these issues of climate change. I'll end here again by thanking all of you for participating. This is very a good partnership. And I want to congratulate the Solution 17, Afoluke and the team on the launch of this very, very timely and important campaign, Just Act. Thank you very much.
Of the Federation. And many here can attest to seeing our branded sterling jumpsuits on Lagos highway managers for the past 10 years. Our commitment to keeping our climate safe has seen us institutionalize the sterling environmental makeover, where we deep clean different parts of the country and plant trees to give our environment a facelift. We're also limiting carbon footprints in the communities. We are committed to doing more to boost domestic tourism in Nigeria, and more importantly, to boost the wellness of our climate and make sure our people live the best quality of life possible. We are committed to partnering with Climate Solution 17, and we are acting now. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Abiola. Thank you. Um, we have quite a surprise for us all. As we mentioned earlier, waste to wealth is a very core component of the Just Act project. And LG, our wonderful sponsors, have decided, alongside with us, to turn their cartons into beautiful and functional items. I don't want to talk too much about it. But right now, I'd like to invite on stage our lead researcher and award-winning artist and curator, Mr. Shegun Amaro. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Princess. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'm happy to be here this afternoon, and I want to say a very big thank you to everyone present here today. We are all directors on seat, all dignitaries, and our great mommy, my Chief Nick, the Chief Coordinator Okudaye. I'm grateful, Madam Foluke, myself, for giving me this opportunity. Now, we have been working on this for a long time because I know science have been trying their best, collecting waste products, crushing them, and transforming them into other. But in arts, we use them in their natural appearance. We collect these materials and then recycle them into useful and functional items. For example, the bags you're seeing have been recycled from the waste carton from LG products. And then there are a lot of other materials that we use to recycle and then turn into wall hangings. We decorate the environment by using these materials, putting them together, combining them with other things to make them colorful and useful for the environment. You call them wastes, but we call them artworks because they have been transformed. They are now useful to the society instead of causing hazard, causing deaths to the entire society. We pick them, we put them together and make them useful to beautify the whole environment. This is what art has been doing. There are so many we can do with it, but because of time, we just have to talk about these little ones that have been done by the train. We take them along, they pick whatever they see, they put them together, and then use them to beautify the environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Right now, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Harry Eluru, the head of corporate marketing with After Operation LG. As you can see, LG has been a very big part of the Just Act project. It's a very beautiful screen, the eco-friendly AC. So please, I would like to invite him on stage to tell us about the pathway to clean energy, environmental protection, and waste to wealth. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, His Royal Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today I would be talking on 3 topics. One is the clean energy, environmental protection, and waste to wealth. Health of the environment is one of the most pressing concerns which the world is facing today. This is the right time to give a serious thought on how we can do our part to create a more sustainable future. In the consumer durable industry, LG Electronics shows its commitment in protecting the planet and delivering a better life. 2022, LG's OLED TV series product, the one which is displayed here, LG OLED Evo, is recognized as eco-friendly product by SGS organization, which is world's foremost inspection and certification services company. This TV displays the carbon footprint label for reducing carbon dioxide through the entire product life cycle. This TV is also recognized by UL. This is also one of the trusted agency called Global Safety Science Leader for Recycled Content Standard, which confirms these products are environmental friendly. Second, additionally, the packaging of these OLED products is recyclable materials and features single color printing to pursue on energy and resources. Next, when I come to the product LG air conditions, it comes with inverter compressors. Due to this inverter technology, the air conditions consumes less energy and give a better output. So these ACs can save energy up to 70%. And when I talk about the other line of refrigerators, washing machines, fryers, microwaves, and other products, these also come with inverter technology and also work as energy saving products. Recently, LG announced a competition named Life is Good Award, striving to create a better life for people and future planet. This is a global competition where everyone can participate. Top 3 best proposals will be selected as winners and would be supported and awarded with a budget. The entry period is open from 6th September to 10th October. A total of $1 million USD will be granted to help accelerate the development of the winning submissions. So this is one of the best opportunity to submit their proposals and get a chance to win in this competition. The company is now inviting like-minded individuals and groups to step forward with their unique ideas. So for more information on this competition, this is our website called Life is Good Award. So they can get more information on this site. Thank you. Thanks for giving me an opportunity. I request my influencers to come here to showcase some products on the concept waste to wealth made by LG Cartons. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to stand and address the photos. My name is Antonia. I run Google Meet, a creative DIY lifestyle brand. When LG contacted me for the collaboration, we wanted to showcase how to reuse and upcycle their cardboard packaging. Felt it was very, very brilliant because for me, it means that the entire life cycle of the product packaging, everything is useful. So I came up with brilliant ideas, shared tutorials online, and it was very well accepted. Someone said, "Oh, this is different. I'm an event planner. I can make these lanterns and use it for decoration." Someone else came and said, "Okay, this would be very nice for Christmas decoration." It's like to think that we're not going to be spending additional money is something that is what it's very laudable. And so as I was seated there, someone said, "Flip the script." Why flip the script? And I was like, yeah, on a good day, you would literally throw this carton away. But we're flipping the script and making this into like a frame where you can put your affirmations, quotable quotes, whatever inspires you on a daily basis. So I'd like to say a big thank you to LG and to just ask. I want to encourage everyone to do everything they can do. When I started upcycling, it was an outlet for creativity, but I gradually realized that there was so much more. The planet is crying. And I understood that people are not aware, so information has to be passed. And so that's why I started sharing tutorials, encouraging people, creativity. It doesn't have to be a particular way. Express yourself, and whilst doing that, you can still be saving the planet. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Um, Good afternoon everyone. I want to say a very big thank you to LG for giving us this opportunity to get DIY creators in Nigeria to like showcase our talent. I've actually been doing DIY for a very long time since I was young, but I didn't know what it was called until I became then quality itself, and I just always like pick up things and just recycle, apologize, photos, and every other thing, things like that. Uh, so when LG reached out to us, we used to like work with us to use their patterns and turn it into something. I was like, oh wow. Currently I'm about to making over my apartments and making to showcase my style. Yeah, so I came up with this beautiful artwork. Which is like okay, this is like LG pattern and I turned it into a very beautiful artwork. And also, this is a pendant light. And currently, I use them in my. So, this is meant to be the roof like ceiling, and when you just put your bulb, it comes in. So, because the lighting for it, so you can't really see. So, this is the pendant light. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. As you can see, we can turn different things in ways to well. We actually have to be very intentional about our planet and what we grow in our waste bin. As you can see, if we make the earth pregnant, this is the child that will be birth. Thank you. I know just without wasting much of our time, we have group pictures later on. I know each and every one of us have our different schedules, but please be patient with us. Immediately after this next speaker, we are going to be launching something that brought us all here today. So right now, I'll just be handing over the mic virtually to the professor of sustainable agricultural mechanization, the pioneer of the Philomath University, Professor Ademi Laj. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Apology for the technical issues. Permit me to stand on the already established protocol. My assignment here is a simple one, just to talk about contribution of educational sector to SDG, especially through our research, outreach, and stewardship. Permit me, therefore, to recognize or to salute the leadership of Solution 17 Green, that of my very good friend, Ms. Poluke Michael. I bring you greetings and glad tidings from Sustainable Agricultural Mechanization Hub, a center for sustainable agricultural research, machine development, training, and outreaches. In the past, higher educational institutions were criticized for working too much in isolation, but the United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda has pushed for better interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary research as well as international collaboration. Universities have demonstrated to the world during COVID-19 crisis why their expertise matters and why international collaboration in higher education is needed to solve the world present challenges. Now, of course, is the time for the international community to recognize the fundamental importance of higher education to achieving all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which aim to end poverty, protect the planet, foster gender equality, defend and promote cultures and cultural understanding, and ensure prosperity for all. Sustainable development is the responsibility of every part of society across the world. It cannot be achieved without linkages across the globe, but also between institutions, government, companies, NGO, and the people. We are looking at ways in which our universities will support the SDG through collaboration, the promotion of best practices, and publication of data and evidence. This pour me to heart while I have the opportunity to be at the helms of AVIA as the Vice Chancellor of Landmark University, Nigeria, to have an initiative that focuses primarily on the areas of education, combating poverty, and widespread hunger, as well as employment, underlining the realization of targets under this goal as fundamental to overall youth development. Of course, issues related to other goals, including gender equality, good health, reduce inequality, and action on environmental issues and climate change with respect to global warming and extreme drought were also addressed. The initiative involves promoting sustainable agricultural development through support for small-scale farmers and equal access to technology and market. This was a program targeted at eliminating hunger among students and staff by allowing them to have access to food, providing sustainable food choices for all on campus, including vegetarians and vegans. The initiative also made provision for events for local farmers and food producers.
Professor Ademi. Right now, due to some technicalities, we'll be going on to the main event. This is the time that we have all been waiting for. And let's please turn our attention back to the TV screen as we present to you Just Ask, the climate emergency.
Of the university as the center
Okay,
of
he's
this.
back, I think. Let's just listen to him.
Such as smart energy, soilless farming, hydroponic technology. Because of time, I want to say that efforts are already put in place to replicate landmark success story in other neighboring universities and colleges. The initial goal of inculcating the ideas of SDG into every fabric of landmark university system has really metamorphosized into bigger projects in the research output of our staff and students. A couple of student SDG research projects have won national competitive award, and that has led Landmark to be ranked 5th in Nigeria in the 2022 Times Higher Education Impact Ranking. In conclusion, the education sector has obligation to humanity, and our sense of responsibility will push us even beyond the limit. Our thesis should leave the shelf and walk to dark places of the heart, shining the light of hope. Of course, if we do not arise now, the river will overflow and there will not be a safe harbor for us. Our effort already put in place to replicate this success, and then we are moving in that respect. Let me at this point say that my own chariot has moved, but the vision remains the same, irrespective of our location. We shall walk and walk as one if we actually have humanity in focus. Once again, I congratulate Ms. Foluke Michael, the CEOs of Solution 17 Green, and a dedicated team for this laudable initiative. I implore you all to sit back, relax, food. Thank you all for listening, and have a
Right on to play the movie, the reason why all of us are here. Thank you.
World that we can be proud of. As she was lost in her thoughts, thinking about the world in 2030, 2050, and 2080, a big problem, because this world can be unlivable if we don't do nothing about it. So what she did was to imagine the world in 2030, 50, and 2080, and then the word came on paper. So because of this movie, we have 17 pieces that were actually put together by young teenagers in Nigeria. So the world was what they saw. She painted the world on paper. She was invited into a studio, media studio, TV station to talk about this problem, you know. So on the journalist side, they were like, if we don't do anything about what is going on in the world, there might be a problem. Okay. I thought we have it back. And so we are advocating for green energy through the youth action. The action is awareness, generating global awareness on climate change. WISE, the awareness is being turned into project implementation. And what are this? What project are we looking at? We're looking at climate smart agriculture, green energy. We're also looking at sustainable tree planting. So everything that we are doing under this project has been showcased in this movie. This movie is not going to stop. We're going to be having like 3 to 4 series yearly, and it's going to run till 2030. But in the next 2 years, we're going to have a complete movie of, say, like 30 minutes that we can put on Netflix. The world needs all of us. Why are we doing this? To generate funding, the right funding, and ensure that we can fund the sustainable project across Nigeria. The publication we're about to launch has been put together for you to read what is just that all about. And I'm promising you that a copy of this movie will be sent to all of you, just in case you are able to hear about it.
The world is experiencing increased temperature, droughts, desertification, land degradation, and loss of biodiversity, floods, poverty, and rising seas. The planet Earth is sick. Where do we go
Seeing
from
all these,
here?
I'm reminded of a thought-provoking statement. When the well is dry, then we know the value of water. I hope we do not wait till the entire earth is wiped away before we can take action.
We simply must do everything we can within our power to slow down the effects of climate change. Science is clear. We must act now.
Let's hear from a youth climate change advocate, Princess Barini, whose painting has triggered climate action in her environment. Imagine the world in 2030, 2060, 2080, and beyond. Our planet becomes extremely hot due to atmospheric carbon. Large parts of the earth are unlivable. Soil overused, millions of people rendered homeless, mass extinction everywhere. This is why we are taking action to spur global movement against the climate crisis.
With the rays of light, children and youth are taking the driver's seat, advocating for clean energy, green transportation, and sustainable communities. Economic trees are springing up at multiple locations. Seedling banks are multiplying. Climate-smart agriculture has taken over. Technology is helping communities to achieve the future we desire. The sustainable world. We are racing to zero emission. Your small actions can make the world more sustainable.
We won't win the fight against climate change without action.
For over 4 decades, my gallery has been promoting the climate change.
The flood in Nigeria and around the world is caused by climate change.
What if the world could not breathe in 10 seconds?
This world must not end now.
If you won't do it for me or anyone else, do it for the next generation.
Ishaya.
Just act.
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 So let's give the actors and everybody here a round of applause. I'm very excited to also be part of the actors. You guys should have seen me there. Now, we're moving to a very important part of this program. Without further ado, my name is Omar Wogo, and I'm the VP Community Engagement here at CYCDI Solution 17. That means that I handle the student community, our entrepreneur community, and other communities. Right now, we are about to launch a very powerful tool that can literally change the world if we do what this tool has asked us to do. And that is our Just Act publication. To launch this publication, I would like to call certain people on stage. Please, can I have the MD of LG Electronics, Mr. Kim? Mr. Kim, please. Please, could you come with your publication, please? Thank you. I would also like to have the representative of Oba Alayeluwa Saheed Ademola, His Royal Majesty. Sir, please, could you come to the stage, please? I'd also like to have the Consul General of Germany. Please, could you come to the stage? Mr. Ved Bonner and his wife, Dr. Bonner. Dr. Bonner, please, could you come to the stage with your publication? I would also like to have the head of tourism at Sterling Bank, Mrs. Abiola Adelana. Please, a round of applause for her. Can I also have the representative of Elizabeth Jack Reach Aid Foundation, Dr. Ibiso? And then I would also love to have Dr. Ngozi on stage. Please a round of applause for her. And the representative of South Africa, a round of applause for her, please. Please come on stage. A round of applause till she gets here, please. Now, we are about to launch the Just Act publication. Mrs. Foluke, can you please join us? You can have this. This publication is the first series of our Book of Acts. We were actually going to release a book that will spur the world to act for the climate. But then we decided to release the first series. And in this publication, we took you through a journey from the beginning when the earth and the environment was beautiful. We also showed you the current situation that we are in now. And we did not just stop there. We told you several actions that you can take to ensure that we get to the desired future that we want to. We have this in PDF form, and everyone who registered for this event is going to have a copy. But right now, we ask that all of you physically ensure that when you go home, you look through this book and do everything that we have told you to do so that this planet can be better. Thank you. So can we have the launch pictures, please? We hereby launch Just Act. I think we just need to do a call to action. Think. 1, 2, 3. Just act. Okay, thank you so much. Please return to your seat. Thank you. Closing remarks, I would like to please call on Mrs. Abiodun Oluwadare.
Hello, please. Just 2 minutes will be rounding up. Could you please take a moment because we're going to take pictures? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay. So permit me to also stand on existing protocol. I think that the time is now. The Just Act initiative has been launched. And it's interesting to note that this initiative will cut across several nations, starting with Africa, Republic of Benin, Rwanda, Tunisia, and several other countries aside Nigeria. So congratulations to everyone for being a part of this laudable global initiative. Climate smart agriculture has been talked a lot about today, and I want to let you know that this initiative of Just Act is not ending here because we have been called to action. Now on climate smart agriculture, a sneak peek into activities that the initiative will be undertaking includes access to good quality climate resilient inputs, access to seedling banks, access to improved technologies and mechanization, access to finance, access to markets, and several other things that would impact directly on those at the bottom of the pyramid, including smallholder farmers. So I'll encourage you all to follow through and be a part of this initiative, an active part of this initiative as we proceed. It is on this note that I would want to invite certain people. These are the brains behind this initiative. I've seen them work day and night. I mean, they have not just been acting in the cliche, they have been putting their hands to work and they have been acting out. So I would want you with a standing ovation, please, to join me as I make welcome, I call them the power team of the Just Act initiative. Please, can you give them a standing ovation as we put our hands together for them and welcome them? Just Act team, please. Power team, power team, power team, power team. This is so that we are waiting for you, sir. Mr. Ayade Joluwadari, we're waiting for you, sir. Just Act Power Team. So if you see them anywhere, know that these are the brains behind the global Just Act initiative that runs across the world. Please, let's have the whole paparazzi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. So much in a episode stuff. You know when you put everything in order, then you get things that is back from the technical glitches. Oh my God, it's crazy. You don't want to know about it because I mean the effort that is put into all of this. But it happens, you know. And so we enjoy ourselves. But we are going to be having refreshment and I need us to network. This is gallery. We want to have experience, not just speaking and speaking and speaking. But once you have experience, let's interact, let's work together. We are mobilizing action. You see here, you're seen by us, our family. We are mobilizing action, action across the world. Hashtag Just Act. As we speak, we already have Just Act in Rwanda, we have in Ghana, we have the Republic of Benin. We also have in Germany, in a couple of days, we're going to be launching the one in Italy, you know, physically, and we also have Just Act in Republic of Benin, Togo. The one in South Africa is going to be launching. So what we are doing right now is to have global heads of each of these countries, and we are raising funding. Whatever you see here is just for us to say, let us launch it. So the next stage for us now is go out into the world. We don't believe that we need to be knocking doors for money. We want to curate wealth. We want to curate money. We have Green Entrepreneur that has been launched online. We haven't launched it officially, but we have created a platform where we're going to be hosting 5 million entrepreneurs, and we're going to be plugging that into a commercial bank so that we don't cost a bank. On this platform, you'll see that every green initiative you can think about can come on the platform. There will be buying and selling, there will be creativity, there will be innovation. Just make Nigeria work. I believe Nigeria will work and Africa will work. Please don't let us give up. There are too many things that is happening around Nigeria that men get my value out Japa. But then the Japa story is not that easy. I mean, Japa story is not that easy. I don't know many of us would have traveled to get there after 2 weeks. The Japa will, except you don't have a vision for life. Remember that the system is not a new job. That system is meant to be enjoyed. Spend your money, get the project on, convert some dollars, come back here because this is a land of opportunity. This is what we are doing. So for movie, we're going to be creating a lot of actors, not established actors. We're going to be using young children, young youth. We'll bring them together and they'll be creating movies. And by middle of next year, we're going to be back in New York to launch Just Act. That's a mini Hollywood. We're going to be using that to raise financing while we implement projects. By the end of the year, we're going to be launching what's called Agriculture for Sustainability. What are we doing? Helping the local people understand that they can also grow seedlings. They can sell the seedlings to us because we're planting all across Lagos right now in partnership with Lagos State government and few organizations that have believe in our vision and we are moving forward to. So we are going to be buying those seedlings from them. We plant the seedlings and then they grow what they can eat and what they can sell. We get market for them to establish their businesses and then we grow Nigeria together. So it's just not about movie and art, but the art and the movie and the music, we are going to be telling the world the story, the powerful storytelling to change the world. Why is the Implement Project? Millions, hundreds, thousands of people across Africa will beneficiary. Don't let us give up. It's enough to give up on Nigeria, but I'm begging you, don't give up. Nigeria is great. And as a problem, look, one thing I've learned to cope with the problem, if you don't have coping mechanism in Nigeria, can't get it. Believe me, we have the best system right here. This LG system, we
we are the best. We are the best team to make this work, and it's the connected. Do you know that while that professor was talking, all internet in this place that we have at MTN, we have